But this got me thinking of LL Cool J and Last Holiday with Queen Latifah. But then that got me thinking of that awful movie with Queen Latifah and Common. So it full circled around.
Yeah.
It circled around and I was like, ooh, Queen Latifah and The Last Holiday. She and LL Cool J had some great chemistry. Then it just circled me over to the one with Common and how they had the opposite of chemistry.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Del.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Alright, so today we watched Deliver Us From Eva.
Yes, we did. As always, IMDb. Ava doesn't let her three sisters' men push them around. She's always butting in. How to pacify Ava? Find her a man. The men pay a playboy to be that man. The problem is, he falls in love with Eva.
Okay, we got a little more detail in this one.
Yeah, it was a little...
What happened.
Yeah, a little cutesy blurb.
Yeah. So, I guess, as usual, start off with things we like about this one.
Yeah,
I guess I'll kick this one off.
Yeah.
I like the overall premise of this one. I thought the Eva character was funny. This was Gabrielle Union. Yeah, I thought she did a really good job with that. I really liked her introduction to her character, where she like kind of comes in and like kicks the three guys out when they're like watching the game, kind of thing. And then even her like introduction to like her health inspector job, where she like lays into that one guy who turns out to be like undercover
boss.
Major. Yeah, something like that. But I just really enjoyed her character throughout the movie, and especially like the introduction scenes like that, where she was like really like getting into that kind of like strict, overbearing, kind of like very stick in the mud kind of character.
Yeah, I think Gabrielle Union did a good job with Ava as well. I think one of the first scenes I have is the family barbecue where Ava first meets Ray. I thought that played really well because it's kind of like, you know, the thing where she has her big expectations and then everyone's not meeting them in general. Mm-hmm. And then Ray comes along and he eats the spicy beans that she apparently always brings. And I was like, what dish is this? Is it just like baked beans? Is it like beans and rice? That's just, I don't know. Yeah. But her and her spicy beans that Ray was able to handle, which like kind of softened him to her.
No, that scene had so much suspense for no reason, because the way he was just like playing with the beans the whole scene, I was like, okay, eat him now, then he puts him down. Eat him now, then he puts him down again.
Yeah.
That was a fun scene.
That was weird. I was on the edge of my seat for those beans. I don't know what that was.
Is he going to eat him? Is now the time? And then at the end he finally eats him and it's like, okay. But, I guess another thing, I thought LL Cool J and Gabrielle Union had like pretty good actor chemistry.
I said that too.
Yeah, they had some good moments. I really liked the first date they went on in the truck where they start singing.
That's exactly
I don't remember the
too.
song, but they start singing some song together. But I just thought like throughout the movie they had like pretty good chemistry together. So that was nice to watch for this one.
I said verbatim the same exact thing. The last thing I have was I thought that the scene that introduced Ray was also pretty funny. Mm-hmm. Not the funeral introduction of Ray, but the one where we see him at the club and he's like with these two girls who find out that he's like cheating on them, and then he like somehow pacifies them both so that they both leave with him. I thought that was a really good, strong introduction to his character.
I guess the last few things I had, they weren't really specific scenes, but I did like all the scenes where they were either in the hair salon with all the girls. I thought those scenes tended to be funny. And then when the guys were at the bar, like the three guys were kind of at the bar doing like stupid stuff and like scheming things. I thought both those like scene formats were very funny in this one. All right, I guess ready for negatives now?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to kick this one off?
Sure. I guess my biggest gripe with this movie is that they don't show why Ava's such a big pain to her sisters, husbands, partners, those guys. I think we're supposed to assume that she's so hard on them because she's been their big protector since their parents died, and she even mentions to Ray that like, oh, she wanted to be a horse trainer or something like that. But once their parents died, she gave that up and was like, yeah, I'm gonna just take care of my sisters, and that's why. But we never get that, like, explicitly why she's such a pain to them. She apologizes for it at the end, but I'm like, I kind of wish I knew why you were a big pain, because then it just seems like you're just doing random shit when we don't have an explanation.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. The thing I had down wasn't the exact same, but kind of similar. I thought, like, we didn't get a lot on the sisters.
No, we did not.
And so especially at the end when all their kind of relationships were resolved, it just felt very, like, unsatisfying because, like, it kind of seemed like the guy's plan was backfiring the whole time. Like, I guess Eva was distracted, but that didn't seem to fix, like, the root of their, like, problems. Like, I think one of the problems, like, was related to, like, having a kid. Like, I forget what the other two problems were, but, like, it didn't seem like getting Eva out the picture really fixed it, you know? And, yeah, it is the movie's fault, because the movie really... You kind of forget about all their, like, individual, like, all those, like, sister relationships throughout most of the movie, you know?
Yeah, because they just focuses on Ava and Ray, which I guess is fine. But, yeah, we needed the sisters because, yeah, it just never looked like their plan was working, I guess, because they still had problems. And what I would have preferred as well is for Ava's meddling to kind of, like... show to be integral to their relationship almost, like where she's trying to, like, one of them says she should be eating healthier or something like that, and makes him get a colonoscopy. I almost wanted it to be a thing where, like, Ava's advice always helps even if they don't think it is, and then when she's not helping, their lives are going to shit in a different way. But it just seemed as though they were always going to be fighting because their relationships were built on rocky ground, and Ava kind of has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. And then at the end, they had the nerve to, like, wrap everything up with a neat bow, and, like, I was like, there's nothing neat about this bow. Like, I don't know.
This was the messiest bow. It's like if you had a small child who made you a present, and it's like there's glue all over the place, and you're like, that's nice, and, like, you're lying.
Just stick a bow on it. Sure.
It's not good. Is it my turn or your turn?
Yeah, I think it's your turn.
Okay, so the ending of this movie. While I don't like a narration setup, I did like the setup of we're meeting LL Cool J's Ray, and it's at his funeral, and it's like, the reason I'm dead is because of that woman right here, and I'm like, oh. Yeah. And it's pretty intriguing, even though they, like, abandoned the narration, like, pretty much immediately, and then occasionally blip it back. That's poor screenwriting on your part. But then the funeral being a thing that they were just gonna, like, fake his death, and that was the plan. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was a very convoluted plan.
It was so stupid. I was like, where did this come from? Why is this the plan that you guys have landed on to, like,
that was the first idea. Like, kidnap him and, like, fake his death. I was like, whoa.
And they put him in a literal warehouse. Like, are you the Joker? What is going on? And the thing that got me, I was like, why on earth do you think killing this guy would make Ava leave? Like, she likes him. Wouldn't she lean on her sisters and be in your business even more if he dies? Because she has no one for real, and, like, her partner just died. Like, that was my immediate thought when I was like, killing him or faking his death, very bad plan, because that doesn't make sense. Like,
no, it didn't. It really
but it was so messy. And then in the end, they didn't even have a good thing of her finding out. Well, she did get a good hit in on him when she found out, once he exposed that they had set her up or whatever. But then the rest of it was just so lackluster afterwards, and she was like, I guess I'm going to Chicago now. And then he follows after her on a horse. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like,
forgot that happened. Yeah. Yeah, no, the ending was not great. Like, I did kind of like the funeral setup in the beginning, because I, like, throughout the movie, I was like, oh, did he actually die? That was kind of my thought during it. Once it turned out to be fake, it was, so it was a weird turn for the movie to take, I think.
It was the weirdest turn, I would say.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I had were kind of, I guess, nitpicky. I thought there were, like, a few montages and slow-mo scenes that didn't need to be there.
There were so many.
Yeah. I wrote that down. I don't remember them, which is probably for the best, but I just had that written down,
there
so
were
I know
a
it
lot
meant
of
something.
montages
Yeah.
here, though.
Okay.
There
Good,
were a
good.
lot of montages in here, especially when it came to like Ava and Ray like getting to know each other. There was definitely a bunch of horseback riding montages, and then montages where they were in love. All just yada yadaing their relationship, basically.
Yeah.
I think my last thing is the money of it all. That was not incorporated well, like even a little bit.
Oh,
So
what was the money thing again?
they basically in the beginning sort of set up that after their parents died and they like sold the house, there's like they have an account all four sisters contribute to, and then the guys are like, we don't have access to that account, we don't know how much money's in that account, and I'm like, okay, so and then like at the end she's like, so about the account, we just split it up between the four of us, and I'm like, was this part of the problem of the relationships, this money? Because it kind of like came in and they sort of, I'm going to use set up very loosely because it was not set up well, but they kind of set it up and then they like bring it up randomly at the end, and I was like, oh, I forgot about the money. And then I was like, you also didn't explain this, why this money thing's a problem, because it didn't seem like Ava was using the money to control her sisters or anything. It all seemed like a pretty mutual thing that they all were like obsessed with each other as a family, which you do you, but like it seemed like a mutual thing, not like Ava was manipulating them. It didn't seem like anyone in the movie was particularly hurting for money in a way where it was like, hey, we could use that money for XYZ. It was just like they're salty, they don't have access to that money, and then in the end they split it. What? It was so stupid.
Yeah, that was kind of more of that magical wrapping things up. Like, like
that was in that
like
scene
barely mattered almost, you know. But,
yeah, that was the scene where she just decided that she was gonna apologize to them and be like, "I'm sorry, I'm a pain in the ass. We split the money. Bye. I'm going to Chicago."
Yeah, everything's good now. You know.
Yeah.
But okay. I don't think I had anything else. Are we ready for?
Yeah, I have nothing else too. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll kick it off. Yeah, I gave this one a 3. For what it was, I did enjoy it as like kind of, I guess, a rom-com. Like I found myself laughing quite a bit during this. I think the Gabrielle Union LL Cool J chemistry really worked in this one and kind of kept it, I guess, enjoyable. You know, I'm just kind of watching them interact with each other. Like the movie definitely had its like holes in terms of, I guess, all the like other characters, but I think like as a romantic comedy, like it did serve that purpose of just like watching like a cute couple kind of just having fun and like getting a decent amount of laughs. So for that, I'll give this one a 3.
I gave this one a 2 out of 5. It was weirdly boring to me. I think it's all the montages, but the title of it and the setup of it definitely made me think it was more exciting than it was. And I happened to pick this movie, and that's because I keep seeing it on my Hulu. It'd be like, For You Movies, and then Deliver Us From Eva. And I'm like, ooh, that's like an interesting title. Like, is she secretly a demon? She was not. But I think, like you said, Gabrielle Union and LL Cool J had some pretty good chemistry. But the plot itself was kind of nothing, actually.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. All right. Final question. Do you wish you saw this one sooner?
No. I can't think of a reason why I would need to.
Yeah, no, pretty easy no for me as well. Yeah, no strong reason to have seen this one earlier. Yeah. But yeah, that was Deliver Us From Eva.
Yeah.
YouTube housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye!
Didn't we just watch a movie with LL Cool J on a horse? Am I making that up? When I saw him on the horse, I was like, we just watched a movie where LL Cool J was on a horse. I don't remember what movie it was, but I feel like we just watched one.
I don't know what movie that would be either. I feel like we don't watch a lot of LL Cool J.
We don't.
I don't know why, but for some reason, this movie, I just kept thinking of Last Holiday. Was he on a horse in that?
He might have been.
Queen Latifah?
Maybe that's further away than I thought, but I don't know why I thought we recently saw him. Because like when the scene where LL Cool J was on the horse, I was like, I've seen this before, and like I know I haven't seen this movie, but like I feel like LL Cool J on a horse is like for some reason is burned in my memory as like he's in a romantic comedy on a horse doing like some cute horse date thing.